In this city, no woman was more wanted or more expensive than her. Every night, a line of men stretched down the street for just 10 minutes in her company. One day, a young man paid double the price to cut the line, not to sleep with her, but simply to talk. She thought he was mocking her, so she put on her clothes and lay on the bed. But the man said he wanted to marry her, promising to give her a decent life. She had heard those words too many times before, so she didn't believe him. When his time was up, she told him to leave. The next day, the man returned, paid double again, and repeated the same thing. He wanted to marry her. Although she still didn't believe him, her attitude began to soften. She even admitted she enjoyed their conversations. On his third visit, she realized the man was truly serious. Fearing she might fall into the trap of tenderness, she turned cold and told him she looked down on him as someone beneath her. The man left with a broken heart. Watching him walk away, her chest tightened. She knew she didn't really despise him. Life had just made it hard for her to trust anyone. She was an illegitimate child. When she was 13, she and her mother were thrown out of their home. Her mother tried to pawn her jewelry, but it turned out everything was fake. To raise her daughter, she sold her body and eventually died of illness. Afterward, the girl was sold to a nobleman with perverse desires and was forced into prostitution when she came of age. Her first client turned out to be her own father. Upon learning the truth, he took his own life. From that moment, her heart turned cold and numb. One day, she tried to escape, but was beaten and robbed by her fellow workers. A pimp later found her and forced her back into the trade. The young man's name was Michael, the son of a wealthy landowner. Disgusted by how his father treated the servants, he left home, worked hard, and eventually bought a small piece of land, living simply and honestly. The only thing missing in his life was love. He prayed at church, asking God to send him a good woman, and it was there that he first saw her while delivering goods. From that very first glance, he knew she was the one he had been searching for. A friend warned him that she was a prostitute, but Michael didn't care. He visited her again the next day. The woman was touched by Michael's sincerity and began to long for a way out of the brothel. She confronted her pimp to claim her earnings, but he refused and beat her. She fought back and was nearly killed. Sensing something was wrong, Michael rushed back overnight and used all his savings to redeem her, since she was too injured to work. The pimp finally agreed. Michael proposed to her again, and this time she said yes. He brought her to his ranch. When she awoke, she took off the ring and said she wouldn't stay long. She didn't want to be anyone's wife or slave. Michael placed the ring before her and said he wanted to marry her simply because he loved her. Still, she couldn't bring herself to believe him. 3 weeks later, once she recovered, she ran away while Michael was out. He rode after her on horseback. She thought he would drag her back, so she slapped him and said she didn't belong to him. But Michael only came to bring her water and clothes, worried she wouldn't survive in the mountains after her illness. He didn't force her to return to the brothel, nor did he make her stay. He simply gave her two choices: walk 19 miles back to the city, where the brothel and her pimp awaited her, or 1 mile back to the ranch, where warmth, food, and a husband were waiting. He left her to decide and rode away. That night, she came back to the ranch. Michael said nothing. He just prepared warm food and a basin of water for her to wash her feet. No one had ever treated her so kindly, and her heart began to melt. Still, her past made her cautious. She tried to seduce Michael, but he was an honorable man and didn't touch her. Later, she asked to repay his kindness by working, and he allowed it. They began a simple life together on the farm, collecting eggs, pulling weeds, cooking, and fishing side by side. At night, she would still try to tempt him, and he would cool himself down by bathing in the river. One night, she woke from a nightmare. Michael took her to the top of the mountain, and as the sun rose, he told her he wanted to give her a life full of light and take her away from suffering. At that moment, she finally opened her heart and accepted him. Michael had refused to touch her because he believed true intimacy belonged only to two people who genuinely loved each other. Now, with their hearts united, Angel felt true happiness for the first time. But that happiness didn't last long. Michael's brother-in-law, Paul, returned home. He recognized Angel as a prostitute and believed she had deceived Michael. While Michael was away, Paul warned Angel to leave and even poured hot tea into her cup as an insult. Later, Paul told Michael about Angel's past, insisting she was unworthy of him. Michael had long suspected something was wrong. When he saw Paul humiliating Angel, Michael punched him and said, "For my sister's sake, as long as you stop shaming Angel, we can still be family." He then asked Paul to go into town the next day for supplies and to pray at church. Michael comforted Angel, saying he didn't care about her past and still wanted to build a family with her. But that only made Angel more determined to leave. She had once been forced to abort a child and could no longer bear one. She felt she could never give Michael the life he deserved. The next morning, Angel left with Paul for the city. During a rest stop on the way, Paul was overcome by lust. Wanting to sever her feelings from Michael once and for all, Angel finally gave in, and they slept together. As they neared the city, Paul, afraid of being seen with Angel, kicked her off the wagon. Angel mocked his hypocrisy and walked away. She tried to retrieve her belongings from the brothel, only to find it had burned down a month earlier. The madam and 2 prostitutes had died in the fire. With nowhere else to go, Angel fell into the hands of another pimp, sinking once more into the shadows she thought she had left behind. After hearing this from Paul, Michael went to find Angel and took her away. Although he understood her pain, every night Michael silently cried, feeling helpless and heartbroken. Seeing his sorrow, Angel felt filthy and unworthy. She threw herself into the river, scrubbing her body until her skin was raw. She said her heart was full of demons and that she didn't know how to love. Through his experiences, Michael told her that forgetting the past was never easy, but with determination it could be done. Slowly, they came to understand one another and found peace, as if their wounded souls were finally beginning to heal. One day, they met a family of 4 whose wagon had broken down. One of them, a pregnant woman, was about to give birth. Michael and Angel took them in for a while. A few days later, the baby was born and the family chose to settle on the farm. Michael was overjoyed. He loved children dearly. Whenever he had free time, he would hold the baby and refuse to let go, smiling as if the child brought him a glimpse of heaven. Seeing this, Angel confessed she had once been pregnant but was forced to have an abortion, and now she could no longer bear children. Michael fell silent, then comforted her, saying he would love her no matter what. Nothing was impossible. Yet the kinder Michael became, the greater Angel's guilt grew. That night, she prepared a delicious dinner and invited Michael to climb the mountain to watch the sunrise. Bathed in the golden light of dusk, Angel sat on Michael's lap, and beneath the sky and earth, they vowed their love. The next morning, Angel left her ring and a letter, then disappeared from Michael's life once again. This time, he did not go after her. He knew Angel had to redeem herself, and forcing her to stay would not bring true happiness. Angel's days again filled with suffering. She traveled from Boston to New York and found work as a cook, drawing on her farm experience. Just as her life began to feel stable, the cafe where she worked caught fire. It turned out Duke had found her. After murdering the woman who once helped Angel escape, he had never stopped searching, driven by obsession more than vengeance. Now, seeing how much Angel had changed, he wanted to drag her back into her old life. Angel was taken to a brothel and scheduled to be sold that night. As she was washed and painted up, she saw a little girl about 8 or 9, and a flood of memories struck her until she collapsed in pain. When she was dressed and ready to go on stage, she thought of her mother and Michael. Her mother had been a devout Christian. As a child, Angel had believed that sincere prayer could save them from hardship. But when her mother died, she stopped believing in God. Only after meeting Michael did she begin to understand that God might not grant what one asked for, but instead gave courage to face the darkness within. Calmly, Angel turned to the crowd and said Duke liked little girls. 2 of them were locked upstairs. Though society's morals were low, crimes like child abuse still provoked outrage. Yet without proof, her words failed to move the audience. Before long, the men returned to their debauchery, laughing as if sin were entertainment. Furious, Duke dragged Angel upstairs. He had warned her that if she defied him again, he would kill her. Just as he raised his gun, a black man stopped him. The man, who had been among the spectators, believed Angel's story and secretly followed them. Angel didn't have time to thank him. She ran into the next room and opened the door, determined to save the 2 girls. At that moment, one of Duke's men appeared. In desperation, Angel grabbed an iron rod and struck him unconscious, then led the girls down the stairs and vanished into the night. When the crowd saw the girls were real, the men who had come seeking pleasure turned into judges. They hung Duke at the gate, a grim reminder of the evil he had sown. 3 years later, Paul was on a business trip to San Francisco when he spotted a familiar figure entering a shelter. He followed and found it was Angel. She was finally free, studying there and working at a restaurant. Though her life was simple, she was content. Paul had remarried and was expecting a child, his once hardened heart softened by time. After a brief conversation, Paul apologized for his cruelty. Angel calmly replied she had long forgiven him. But when Paul mentioned Michael, a flicker of panic crossed her serene face. After all these years, Michael had never remarried. He was still waiting for her. The panic turned into pain, then deep, aching longing. At that moment, she felt her heart tear and bleed endlessly. Finally, under the setting sun, Angel walked back to Michael once more. With a trembling voice, she said, "My real name is Sarah. After my mother died, I never told anyone, because it was the only thing no one could take from me. But now, I'm willing to give you everything, because I truly love you." A year later, Sarah, once thought barren, gave birth to a son and was expecting another child. And with that, the story ends here.